Well, thanks for calling. That was the Richardsons canceling. The storm forced them to stop at the McKinnon Resort Hotel, and they wanted to give a quick call before they headed down to the heated pool and spa.
It's a shame this blizzard had to ruin their vacation.
Oh, Dick, it's a doozy out there. I haven't seen anything like this since the big one of '66. Or maybe it's more like the blizzard of '71. Wait a minute. It's real close to the hail balls of the summer of '54. Well, anyway, this is definitely the worst nor'easter. Or is it a sou'wester? Let's see, is it...
George, what's the difference, north or south?
Gee, Dick, good thing you're an innkeeper, because you'd make a lousy bird.
Don't feel bad, honey. George didn't mean it.
Honey, I've been called a lot of things in my life, but never a bad bird.
Steph!
Do I know you?
It's me, your king of hearts.
Well, you look like my boyfriend, but he said he'd be here 2 hours ago. Michael, you're trembling. There's moisture on your forehead. You've been perspiring.
I can explain.
First, get that off your brow. Michael, I asked you over to cuddle and see me through the storm, and so far all you've done is be down.
Steph, I think our relationship is strong enough for me to tell you that your white knight has a tiny ding in his armor. Steph, I have a fear of wind. Just kidding. Make it stop! Make it stop! Steph, it's not my fault. It started when I was a little boy, and I tried to watch The Wizard of Oz. I never even made it past the black and white part. The moment that house began to twitch, I was out of there.
Michael, I don't want you to have stuff wrong with you.
Steph, I think the fear of winds is pretty common. They even have workshops for it and everything. I mean, who else here has a fear of big winds? See, Steph, it affects 1 out of every 5 people.
Yep, it's a nor'easter.
Oh, George, clear, beautiful morning, isn't it?
Yeah, I can't remember a morning after a storm like this in '76. Of course, there was that
George.
one...
Don't start.
Steph, you're mad at me, I can tell.
Michael, I'm not mad. I just didn't get much sleep last night.
Oh, so, the wind kept you awake, too?
No, I could hear you whimpering.
Is that what that was?
I wasn't whimpering. I had a wheezy cough.
You ought to see a doctor about that.
Steph, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you all. Nothing scares Michael Harris. I'm going to go right out that door and rent The Wizard of Oz.
Oh, do you mean it?
From first minute to last, from good witch to bad.
Oh, Michael.
And I guess there's no way of talking you out of this, you brave, impetuous kid.
Come on, Michael, we're off to see the wizard. Wait till you see the scene where the flying monkeys swoop down out of the sky.
Flying monkeys?
Morning, George.
Morning.
Dick. Just stopped by to let you know we're having a town meeting tonight to decide how to divvy up the emergency storm fund.
Oh, well, thanks, guys. The only damage here was the door blew in.
Gee, Dick, that's hardly an emergency.
Did it take out any chairs?
No, just the door, and George has already fixed it.
It doesn't seem fair. You're asking for emergency funds with your damage already fixed.
I'm not asking for emergency funds.
Then what are we doing here?
So, anyone else have any damage?
Well, about the only damage we know of was to the bell tower and the town hall.
The bell tower?
Yeah. Oh, you should see the bell.
It's hanging by a thread.
Well, come on, Jim. We better move along. There might be people out there with legitimate damage.
Wow. My grandfather and I built that bell tower when I was 6 years old.
I didn't know that.
We know I feel like that bell tower is part of my family. Kind of crazy, huh, Dick?
That's not crazy, George.
I like to think it's Grandpa Ben calling every time I hear it ring. George. George.
It's getting borderline crazy, George.
That bell tower was built by my grandfather and maintained by my father. I think it ought to be another Utley that fixes it.
Well, let's see. Who could we get?
Dick, could you let me have some time off to fix that bell tower?
Sure, George.
Great. And I won't leave you in the lurch. While I'm gone, I'm making you deputy handyman.
Gee, George, I only wish Joanna could have been here to see this.
Hi, Dick. Here to get some money for storm damage?
No, JJ, we didn't have any. How about you?
Not from this storm. I've got some damage from a summer rainstorm, but what they don't know won't hurt them, huh?
JJ, I don't think it's right to abuse emergency funds.
Fine. Have it your way. I'll just explain to my neighbors my house is a leaning eyesore thanks to Dick.
Before we get started, Officer Shiflett would like to say something.
I'm pleased to say that during this snow alert, there was only one incident to report, that being your basic hit and run. The snowballs did no permanent damage. But if my window would have been down, I might have lost an eye. The perpetrator fled the scene, but I followed his tracks and spoke to his mother and father directly.
Thank you, Officer Shiflett.
Example set, lesson learned, case closed.
Before we deal with individual claims, let's decide who's going to repair the bell tower. I open the floor to nominations.
It wouldn't look right if I nominated myself, Dick.
I nominate George Utley.
Thank you, Dick. Are there any other nominations?
I nominate myself, Cal Lentley.
Wow, the gall of some people.
Well, if that's all the nominees, perhaps we'd better hear from each of them.
Well, I think everybody knows me here. Cal Lentley, general contractor, president of Cal Lentley General Contracting. I built a lot of things in town. I'm good, and I want the work.
Thank you, Cal Lentley.
President of Cal Lentley General Contracting.
George.
Hi, I'm George Utley. Everybody knows the kind of work we Utleys do. I mean, it was my grandfather who built that bell tower, and I think I'd do a real good job of fixing it.
Gee, George, what about your job at the inn?
Oh, we've already taken care of that. Tell him, Dick.
George made me deputy.
What?
George made me deputy handyman.
Excuse me, Cal Lentley. It's true that an Utley did build the tower, but it's also true that it's hanging by a thread. Thank you, Cal Lentley.
Wait a minute. There's been some suggestion that George wouldn't do a good job, but I think he will, and I think he deserves a chance. Dick Loudon.
George Utley's deputy handyman. Enough said?
Gentlemen, let's let democracy decide. All those in favor of Cal Lentley, say aye.
Aye.
All those in favor of the job going to George Utley, say aye.
Aye.
Sorry, George. Looks like Cal edged you out.
Edged him out. It was a massacre.
Proud of your guy, huh, Steph? I sat through each and every frame of The Wizard of Oz.
Michael, you watched the entire movie in fast forward.
Well, think of it, Steph. It's tons scarier seeing Kansas get creamed in nanoseconds.
Michael, you're afraid of the wind. Just admit it. Does it make you any less appealing as a boyfriend? Yes. Can I live with it? We'll see.
Steph.
Dick, I thought George already fixed the door.
He did, but the hinge is a little loose.
Oh, honey, please let George fix it. It'll make him feel better knowing at least you still have confidence in him.
Honey, it isn't a real confidence builder to tell someone they can't tighten the hinge. Hand me the other screwdriver, will you? One, two, three. See, I was right. It's 3 screwdrivers long. Pay up.
Last time I try and second guess you on door widths.
Give it up, you two. I see through your little playlet. Don't worry, Dick. I wouldn't ask me to fix the door either. I used to be so proud of the work we Utleys did on that bell tower. I guess that's all gone with the wind.
Well, at least you can still joke about it.
Huh?
You know, George, a big wind can knock down anything. I mean, God makes trees, but when a storm comes along, you know, even he loses a few. But you don't see him going around moping, do you?
Well, at least God doesn't have to deal with Cal Lentley putting his trees back up. Cal starts work in the morning.
George, I wish there was something we could do.
Well, I have everything we need. We could sneak up to the bell tower and fix it tonight.
George, it's a big job. It's late. It's cold. It's crazy.
And I'll have to do it myself.
No, you won't.
Where are you going?
Where else would I be going this late at night to a dark, broken belfry?
Come on, Dick. Let's prove to this town that the name Utley still stands for quality workmanship. Dick, don't worry. We'll do the work and be out of here in no time flat. Wow, it's even worse than I thought.
Well, we gave it our best try, George.
We can't leave now. I've got to restore my family's reputation.
It's what, breaking and entering vandals?
Dick, you broke the lock.
But, George, let's hurry. I can give this 8 hours, not 10 to 20 years.
Right, Dick. Boy, look at the view. You can see New Hampshire from here.
George! Oh, you're right. It is pretty, isn't it?
Sure is a sleepy little town. Let's hope it's a real sleepy little town.
All right, let's get rolling, George.
Well, we're going to have to put up a new support beam for the bell.
Shh. George. Footsteps. Somebody's coming up here.
Oh, no. Hide.
Yeah, they'll never find us in here.
Well, then, just try and look as though you belong here.
Yeah, I'll try to grow a hump.
Hi, I'm Larry. This is my brother Daryl. And this is my other brother Daryl. And we usually don't find anyone up here to introduce ourselves to.
What are you guys doing up here? You heard the bell?
No, this is our secret spot. Or at least it was till you showed up. Now, once word gets out, This will be the hottest hangout in town.
I wouldn't worry about it, Larry, even if word does get out.
Good, because them bats are a skittish bunch.
Bats?
Uh-huh. Daryl's developed quite an attachment to them. They're a lot friendlier than people give them credit for, and a whole lot furrier. You know, they'll come right down and visit you if you hold your arm out just like this.
Oh, okay, Larry!
Dick? George?
Joanna, what are you doing here?
Well, I couldn't sleep knowing you guys were up here, so I brought up some coffee and sandwiches.
Mighty thoughtful. Daryl usually feeds them field mice and chicken wings. But a change in cuisine could get them in a real frenzy.
What are they talking about?
Honey, don't ask and keep your arms at your side.
Dick, I heard on the radio they're expecting another storm to hit at dawn.
Oh, no. More wind could take this whole tower down.
Maybe you should come home.
George, she's making me.
Ew, Michael, ew.
Come on, Steph. There's nothing that disgusting up here. Oh, hi, guys.
See, I told you, hot spot.
Joanna told Michael there was another storm coming, so he dragged me out and brought me up to this wind-scarred pocket of doom.
Steph, I'm going to show you once and for all that Michael Harris is one tough hombre's hombre. So you guys need a hand with this wood stuff?
What's going on up here? Some sort of satanic ritual?
JJ, what are you doing here?
Well, between the parked cars and the snowdrifts on the street, I couldn't get through. And I was on my way home to watch a very special episode of the Mod Squad.
JJ, we're here trying to fix George's grandfather's bell tower. I think it's a little more important than an episode of the Mod Squad. Even a very special one.
Fine, Dick. Now I'm going to have to wait through a whole syndication cycle before I get to see Link cry.
Look, can we get at least one nail in before the other half of the town shows up?
Are those sandwiches?
Help yourself, JJ.
Yeah, and feel free to hold your arm out.
All right, nobody move.
Nobody can.
Well, well. Caught you in the act, huh? What are you doing?
Officer, I know we're not supposed to be up here, but I just had to fix this tower before Cal Lentley gets here in the morning.
Look, Cal Lentley won this job fair and square. Now, why don't you just slide that power tool over here real slow?
Officer, I just want to say I'm up here for the wind.
Look, this means the world to George. Hasn't there ever been anything in your life that you couldn't turn your back on, that you had to do no matter what?
Uh-huh. That's why I have to take you in.
Keep talking, Dick. Pretty soon we'll be sucking cyanide.
That's all right, Officer Shiflett. If you'll give us a minute, we'll collect our stuff and go.
Well, since you're going to leave, I guess I'll just look the other way.
Thanks, officer.
But I'll be checking back here after making my rounds, and if they're all out of jelly-filled, it'll be sooner than you think.
George? Aren't you coming?
No, I just said that to get the rest of you out of trouble. If I don't finish this, Cal Lentley will. But thanks for trying to help anyway, Dick.
George, did you thank me to get me to stay?
Did it work? And thanks to the rest of you, too.
Come on, Daryl. An opportunity to hold nails in our mouths.
Okay. Here's more coffee and donuts. Oh, I can't believe that wind. It's really kicking up. Whew.
Michael, you're still up here. You really aren't afraid of the wind.
I blew that myth to smithereens. Steph, I stayed up here and I faced my fear. The winds howled and I didn't.
Oh, Michael, how did you do it?
Well, every time the wind blew, I imagined the Bullwinkle balloon at the Macy's parade sprang a leak. I was sad, but never frightened.
I could live with that.
Now look, another gust of wind could do more damage to this tower than even an Utley can fix. All right, everyone. On the count of 3, we've got to lift this beam into place. 1, 2.
What's going on?
What are you two doing here?
We heard the bell.
And it took you this long to get here?
Well, we would have been here sooner, but we were watching the Mod Squad.
Right. There even would have been someone to discuss the episode with.
George, you're trying to fix the bell tower? I don't believe it. An Utley breaking the law. This is pretty serious.
Yeah, and somebody even broke the lock.
That would be me.
Well, I'm sorry, but as mayor, I can't overlook it when people break the law.
It was all my fault, but I'd do the same thing again. That's how important this tower is to me and my family.
Well, I'm sorry, George, but there's no question you still must be punished. I'm going to have to assign you to community service work. And seeing how the only thing in this community needing work is this tower, why don't you finish what you started here?
You mean it?
Yeah.
Oh, boy!
There's just one last thing to decide. Dick's punishment.
I understand.
$100 fine.
What?
Break the lock, break the law.
All right, everyone. 1, 2, 3!
Get there, George.
Now this tower should be safe.
Oh, George!
Oh, and look. Here's my grandfather's original plaque. It's, here stands the town bell tower, built with care by Utley hands, and dedicated on this date, June 2nd, 1937. May it stand forever.
Oh, George, that's wonderful.
Maximum occupancy, 3 people.
Just like it should be.
Meow.